Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 27th of July, 2021. 2 more days into the NBA draft. I hope you're COVID free. I hope you're healthy today. I hope your family and your household are healthy and COVID free, as well as having your needs in terms of food, shelter, and clothing met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, trying to save lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to deliver boys and girls, men and women, children, babies from child molestation, from sex slave operations and human trafficking, from pedophilia. Blessings upon those, double blessings on those trying to deliver these unfortunates, and curses upon those that participate in these industries and support them. Finally, blessings upon those that are helping the homeless as well as the homeless themselves. 600,000 people in the United States currently without a roof over their head, and the numbers are climbing. Over millions, multiple millions around the world in the worst conditions in the same situation. Blessings upon those people and blessings upon those that help, for theirs is the kingdom. Today, what we're going to do today is the Raw Hebrew mock draft, NBA 2021 mock draft for the Raw Hebrew. What I did is as some of you already know, I am really just focused on the Knicks. The Knicks are my team. And so I'm only really caring about what they do. I don't care about what everybody else says or what everybody else does. But this draft is so deep. It is so deep. And so I decided to do a mock. And what I did, because I'm not an expert on everybody's team. See, I don't like just guessing and throwing players at a team. So what I had to look at each team. I had to look at their rosters and then decide based on what their situation is and what their rosters is. If I was a general manager, what would I choose for them? That's the way I did it. So of course, there's going to be people that don't agree with me, and that's fine. I don't agree with most mocks. In fact, most of the mocks I see, I laugh at. For example, the Knicks said they wanted wings and shooters. I saw one mock. I don't know if it was CBS. I don't know if it was NBC or Sports Illustrated. They had us taking two bigs, Jackson and Garuba. And they said they wanted wings and shooters. See, that's what I'm saying. People not paying attention to what the team needs are. They're just throwing people out there for a mock. I'm not going to do that. I'm looking at each team and I'm trying to determine their needs. Now, the first 5 picks are pretty easy. That's no problem. Cade Cunningham's going to Detroit. Jalen Green is going to Houston. And the reason I say Jalen Green's going to Houston is because from the reports I have gotten, and maybe you've seen them, it looks like Mobley, Suggs, and Cade Cunningham, none of them agreed to work out for Houston. Because and the reason I believe that they're getting Green is because everybody probably feels like Green's got a promise from Houston. So nobody's bothering to waste their time working out there. And so Green at 2 to Houston. Cade Cunningham at 1, obviously the Detroit game changer. Detroit, because of this pick and the team they already have, and they had a tremendous draft last year. Detroit had a tremendous draft last year. They picked up a number of very good players in the draft a year ago. Let's just take a look here. They got last year, and they're a young team, but they got Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart. They got the guard from France, Killian Hayes. They got really good draft last year. So those 3 guys, Bey, Stewart, and Killian Hayes, they hit a home run last year. Then they got Josh Jackson, who was only in his 3rd year out of Kansas and had disappointed, since he went to Phoenix, but he did very well for them coming off the bench. And then of course their big signing was Jeremy Grant. So, and then they got Wayne Ellington, who we knew as New York Knick. He's a shooter. Once a Knick, always a Knick. They got Dennis Smith Jr. I don't know what's going to go on with Dennis Smith Jr. in his career. They got Rodney McGruder, also solid defender in his 4th year out of Kansas State. So they got a pretty good and a very young roster. So, Cade Cunningham is a game changer, and they're going to be vying for the play-in. I'm not saying they're going to be the top 8, but they're definitely going to be in the top 10 of the East because of Cade Cunningham. I'm really that high on him. If he doesn't get hurt, he's going to help them get into the play-in, and that's what they're going to be looking for. Jalen Green to Houston. They pair him with Kevin Porter Jr. on the wing, dynamic wings. In the NBA, you need wings to win. They got to start building around their big signing from last year was Christian Wood. They got to start building around him. They're going to have to clean house a little bit. They got to get off John Wall's contract. I don't know who would take it. I hope the Knicks do not. They're going to have to get off John Wall's contract. They got to get off. They got Eric Gordon still there, and they're paying him a ton of money. But they got to start rebuilding. It's time for them to completely rebuild. So they'll keep. They might keep a Gordon as a veteran off the bench. Kelly Olynyk is there, but I don't think he's going to stay there because unless they pay him, whoever pays Kelly Olynyk is going to get him. And so I don't know if they're going to pay him or not. But it's time for them to build over. So they take Jalen Green, very simple. They pair him with Kevin Porter Jr. on the wing, and they're ready to rock and roll starting from there with Christian Wood. So definitely Houston gets Jalen Green. Cleveland gets Evan Mobley. Now, this is interesting to me. Evan Mobley, Cleveland has Jared Allen at the 5, excellent 5. He has all defensive team potential at the 5 in Jared Allen. Evan Mobley is a 5 and a 4. I mean, he could play both. To me, Evan Mobley has the ability to be like the Anthony Davis type. He's that type of talent. And so Cleveland probably, I don't know, they might really want Suggs, but I think they can't pass on Mobley because really, I believe Toronto wants Mobley. And I would too, because you want to pair him with the front line with Siakam and OG in there. You already got Malachi Flynn, and you got people forgetting about and sleeping on Malachi Flynn. They got Malachi Flynn and they got Fred VanVleet. Now they could use a third guard, obviously. They traded away And they also got Gary Trent Jr. So let's not sleep on them either. They got Gary Trent Jr. So I don't know why people are sleeping on them guys. I would want Mobley if I was Toronto. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Toronto try to make a move with Cleveland to get the pick for Mobley. I don't know what they would offer them, but they try to make a move with Cleveland to get Mobley, because if I'm Toronto, I'm really wanting Mobley because you put him, you already got people, Suggs is a tremendous talent, but I think he fits better with Garland than he does with the backcourt that Toronto has, because Toronto already has, like I said, Malachi Flynn, they got Gary Trent Jr., and they got Fred VanVleet. They got a tremendous threesome right now already. Okay. But, but I'm going to say Cleveland takes Mobley, although Suggs to me is the better fit. It's going to be hard for them to pass on a talent like Mobley. He's really a game changer. All of these kids in the top 5 are really good players. So, I'm going to take Cleveland taking Mobley, but again, I'm going to put a disclaimer. Don't be surprised if there's a switch and Toronto ends up taking Mobley and Cleveland ends up taking Suggs. Don't be surprised if that happens. Because Now, let's move on. Orlando. Easy. Scotty Barnes. Done. Scotty Barnes. Tremendous 6'9", handles the rock, can guard 5 positions. And Orlando needs to focus, to me, on the wing shooters and just overall defense. They got, Mo Bamba, and they got Wendell Carter. 2 good defenders, but they're young, right? And injury prone, right? So they got Mo Bamba and they got, Wendell Carter. And then of course they're bringing back Jonathan Isaac coming off his ACL. So they're going to have very good length, and defense along the front line. So on the wing, they could use somebody that could guard on the wing. Here's Scotty Barnes. And don't let Scotty Barnes, he's one of these guys that you say like, if he gets a jump shot, if he ends up shooting anywhere decent, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Scotty Barnes is that type of talent. So, and of course, I always favor Florida State, and apparently so does Orlando, because they got Dwayne Bacon from Florida State. They got Jonathan Isaac from Florida State, and now they picking Scotty Barnes from Florida State. So they also know what I know. So Scotty Barnes 5 to Orlando. OKC. Now, their situation is they are in a total rebuild. Now, Toronto's not, we mentioned Toronto, they're not in a total rebuild. Toronto is really fighting. They're looking to compete. They're looking for the playoffs. So Toronto's got a pretty good team set. They got to replace Kyle Lowry. Like I said, I think Evan Mobley would be the guy, but they're going to end up with Suggs. That's not a bad consolation prize. But OKC's a different scenario. OKC's in a complete rebuild. When you're in a complete rebuild, you go for upside and talent. Upside and talent. That's what you're looking for. Upside and talent, especially with your highest pick. So you're going to get Jonathan Kuminga, I think, at OKC. A lot of people criticizing Kuminga because of things like his shot selection and his poor jump shot and his poor decision making. But people forget Jonathan Kuminga, even though he looked like a grown man, he's 18 years old. He's not no 22-year-old kid. This guy's 18, okay? And just played his first full season at age 18 in the G League. All right, so he's got tremendous, Kuminga has got tremendous athletic ability, obviously. He's got the talent. He's got the upside you want. 6'8", 210 pounds. He's only 18 years old. He averaged 17 and 8 in the G League, and he has it. Talk about not scratching the surface. This kid is really, he would be a freshman in college this year. He would be a freshman in college. So, yeah, so you got upside. To me, there's no player in this draft. There's a couple of, well, that's not true. But of all the players in the draft, the highest upside, to me, is Kuminga. So they pick him at 6. Golden State has a couple of ways they could go here. They got a couple of ways they could go. Because they got a stacked team already, a veteran team. They're not looking to develop as much as they're looking to win now. So they're going to need players that's going to be able to step in and help them win right now. Okay. So I have them taking Bouknight at 7 because he can come in and shoot. You're hoping the shooting translates. Okay. So, and apparently from his workouts, people, and honestly, I don't really put a lot of stock in the workouts. I need the workouts to confirm what I already believe. That's what I'm saying. I don't need the workout to change my mind about a player. I don't. If you ain't showed it in the games before, your workout, look, put it this way. Ben Simmons was hitting threes one after another in the workout. Okay? So you can't go by a workout. You just, So Bouknight, you're hoping the shooting translates. And I believe Golden State has brought him in multiple times. So I'm going to go with Golden State taking Bouknight as a shooter that they could bring off the bench right away at 7. Orlando needs, again, they're going to need perimeter defenders and shooters from the perimeter. Right? So I got them taking Moses Moody at 8. Sacramento, they really need power forwards. Now, they need 5s and 4s because they're trying to unload. They're trying to trade Marvin Bagley. They are open. Woj came out the other day and just said they are shopping Marvin Bagley. So they're trying to shop Bagley. So they're obviously not, they're basically saying we're not going to put any more time and effort into this player who is really still 21, I think, years old. So somebody's going to take him, but they're going to need 4s. They got Holmes, Richard Holmes, and I like Holmes. He's a 5. They got to renegotiate his contract. It's time for them to sign him, but they need some more bigs. So I'm going to go with Sengun from Turkey at 9 for Sacramento. The Grizzlies, another team that's on the cusp. They're really on the cusp, the Grizzlies. So I am saying, like, they really got a lot of good stuff. They just traded and they just got Steven Adams and they got Eric Bledsoe. So, and that the Bledsoe thing was, I think, to shore up the backcourt defense. They have a good defensive team already. They really do. They're a good team. They don't need a lot. I would go with another defender on the wing, and I would go with Franz Wagner right here. If I'm them, I'm going with Franz Wagner because he's a solid player. He's not a superstar, but if you're not everybody. First of all, most of the superstars in an NBA draft either get in the top 5 or they're just somebody that surprises you, right? And so you never know with some of these kids, but you got to go with what you see with Franz Wagner. He's a solid defender. He can guard the wing to 1s, to 2s, to 3s, to 4s. Solid shooter, not a great shooter, solid, high IQ player. I say they get Franz Wagner. the Hornets is my first real surprise of the draft, because if I'm the Hornets, I'm looking for somebody that's going to run with LaMelo. Somebody that's going to benefit from a LaMelo's game as a running guy, as a guy that pushes it as a passer. So, for example, last year, Malik Monk really flourished playing with LaMelo Ball. He really did, because, LaMelo was finding him and he was getting open shots and he was being more creative. They got Miles Bridges, right? They got PJ Washington. They need a guy in the 5 spot that could run with LaMelo. Okay. Now, there were 2 guys I was looking at. I ended up choosing Isaiah Jackson, from Kentucky, for the Hornets, because I think you run him out there with LaMelo. I think LaMelo would like that. I think Jackson would like that. So that's the other guy I was looking at. That's the Hornets at 11. At 12, the Spurs. Similar situation. You got DeJounte Murray and Derek White, right? You got all kind of dogs. You got all kind of dogs. I love some of the players that are on San Antonio, guys I just liked in the drafts they were in. Like I like Lonnie Walker. I really like Lonnie Walker. I like Devin Vassell, of course. Y'all know he was one of my favorites. And they got a ton of guys like that. They got Keldon Johnson out of Kentucky. They got DeJounte Murray at 6'4" or 6'5". They got Devin Vassell at 6'5". They got Lonnie Walker at 6'4". They got a bunch of dogs. They got Derek White at 6'4". They got a bunch of wing type dogs, right? So they need somebody that can run on the 5 spot. Now they got a solid 5 in Jacob Polo. He's solid, and they're going to lose DeMar DeRozan. He's not going to re-sign with them. They're going to lose DeMar DeRozan. Trey Lyles is a free agent, so I'm not sure if they're going to keep him or not. I'm going to go with Kai Jones, with the Spurs. Upside, ability to run the floor. He's going to be with the best coach in the planet in Greg Popovich. That's going to be able to teach him how to play the game the right way. And then he's still in Texas. I'm going to go with Kai Jones for the Spurs at 12. At the 13th pick, we have the Pacers, another stacked team. You know what the problem with the Pacers is? Honestly, it's their management. It's not their management. It's their owner. He's cheap. Okay. And because of that, he makes some bad decisions. They got a good general manager. I'm not going to front. They got a good general manager. But their owner is cheap. And that's why you're hearing reports about them trading, Sabonis or trading Miles Turner. That's why last year Kevin Pritchard's a good executive, but that's why last year you hear about them talking about, they fired Nate McMillan. He goes to Atlanta and they go to the conference finals. Then they hire some guy, Bjorken. I'm not saying he was a bad coach, but they fired him. Right. So now they got, they went and got the Dallas coach. And they got Rick Carlisle, who obviously is really good coach, championship coach. So and they don't need much as far as talent. They got Sabonis, they got Turner, they got TJ Warren, they got LeVert, they got a squad, man. Justin Holiday's a good backup. I'm not talking about him, but not Justin Holiday. Who's the other guy? They got another Holiday. The youngest Holiday boy is there, and he could play. The youngest Holiday boy could play. They got a pretty good team. They got Justin Holiday. They got Aaron Holiday. Don't sleep on Aaron Holiday out of UCLA. That kid could play. He's just like the other brothers. He could play. So you got Aaron Holiday. They got Cassius Stanley, who's really 6'5" wing, nice wing. TJ Warren. They got a good team. So I'm like, what do these guys need? Well, you know what every NBA team needs all the time? Shooters. Corey Kispert at 13 to the Pacers. Corey Kispert at 13 to the Pacers. Golden State. Okay, here we go. Golden State at 14 again. So now you got Book Knight at 7, right? You need somebody that you can bring into play, right? Now you got on the wing Book Knight. You have Thompson coming back. You have on the wing, you got Wiggins, right? So you got some wings. I'm not sure if they're gonna get rid of Wiggins or if they're gonna be able to dump that contract or not. I know they'd rather not have it. because that's a lot of money they're paying in taxes right now, which we talked about last year. That's why I thought they would do it last year, get rid of Wiggins, because they got to pay a lot in tax money. Somebody's like, well, money doesn't matter. Well, yeah, it does. So I don't know if they're going to get rid of him or not. Oubre, they're losing. They're losing Oubre. He's a free agent. He's gone. So now you're talking about wings. They need a wing. And so I was hung up between Duarte and Jalen Johnson right here, because Duarte obviously is the more mature pick, and he would be ready to play, and they can go right now with Duarte, right? But because they already got Wiggins, because they already got, and Bazemore they had, but he's going to be a free agent. He might be staying there, I don't know. But they had Wiggins already. I'm not sure they're going to get rid of him, but I'm going to assume they keep him. They got Wiggins, they got Jordan Poole, they're going to lose Kelly Oubre. I'm going to go here. I'm going with Jalen Johnson at 14 for Golden State from Duke. That's what I'm taking there. Jalen Johnson, 6'9". He could play the wing. He could play the power forward. And so they got some flexibility with him. He's, young kid also, can help them develop. Okay, on to Washington. Washington at 15. Washington's interesting. They got, of course, backcourt is set. They got Westbrook and they got Bradley Beal. No matter what the trade rumors, they're both Washington Wizards right now. So you got both of those guys. You got Gafford. You got Rui Hachimura. You just signed Bertans to $80 million. So you're going to shoot it right there. So I am thinking, and they got good defenders. Brian is a good defender, tough guy. Last year they played Robin Lopez a lot because I think Bryant was hurt. They got Gafford as the other defender. So they got, and Rui Hachimura is a good defender. So here I'm going to take a ready-made guy that can come in and play. I'm taking Duarte at Washington at 15. They're going to get Duarte at 15. OKC at 16. Okay, I'm OKC at 16. I'm taking defense right now. I went and got my upside pick in Kuminga. I got all kind of kids. I need a kid that's going to come in and give me some tough defense from the beginning. I'm taking Garuba at 16 if I'm OKC. New Orleans has traded their 10th pick, and now they got the 17th pick. Now, this is interesting because at this point, right, you got some guys that have fallen. At this point. So, I'm saying, who are we going to pick? Because you got some guys that have fallen. So now, if you're the Pels, you got people look at Troy Murphy. You got Zaire Williams. But look, we done forgot about Josh Giddey. He's still there, right? So I'm thinking with LaMelo Ball, they got Kyra Lewis. They bring in a third guy, as a 3-guard rotation. Josh Giddey, from Australia. 6'8", can play the guard spot. There you go. Whenever Lonzo Lee comes out, or if they lose him, you got Josh Giddey. So I'm taking Josh Giddey at 17 for the New Orleans Pelicans. At 18, here's OKC again. And OKC now, guess who else has fallen? Guess who has fallen to 18 at this point? Davion Mitchell is still on the board at 18. They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They got Dort. Okay, they got some good players. They got Maladon. They got a lot of good players at the guard spot. So do they take Davion Mitchell? Do they? No. Realistically, if I'm them, I'm taking Trey Murphy. I'm taking Trey Murphy right here. And how I want the Knicks to get Trey Murphy. But if I'm OKC at 18, I got a gazillion guards. I got Maladon. I got Sid Gibbs. I got Dort. I don't need another guard. I'm taking Trey Murphy because he now I got a defense. I got 2 guys that can play some defense. Murphy's a spot up shooter, right? I'm taking Murphy at 18. At 19, so now check it out. You got Davion Mitchell's available, and Springer's available. Jaden Springer's available for the Knicks at 19. Now, Duarte's off the board. Murphy's off the board. Okay? I'm taking Springer. I'm taking Springer right here. The Knicks are going to get a veteran point guard to come in and play, whoever it be. You know, we talked about the various options they have on the market to get a veteran point guard. So they're going to get a veteran point guard. What they need now is a guy that they can groom and play the Tom Thibodeau. Now, I'm not saying Mitchell doesn't play the Tom Thibodeau style, but I'm going to go with Springer. 6'4", 200 pounds, solid kid, 18 years old, got all the upside in the world, and we don't need him to be a star right away. Give me Springer. I want Springer at 19. At 20, I'm having the Hawks take Petrusev from Golden State. And the reason I'm doing that is because I know they need a backup for, I know they could pick Mitchell here. You know, they could pick Mitchell here. I wouldn't be surprised if Mitchell fell this far. Matter of fact, you know what? If Mitchell fell this far, because I would have had them pick Petrusev because they pretty stacked everywhere. They got wings galore. They don't need no more wings. Okay? And then, of course, they got Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu at the center spot. So they really good there. I was thinking they could use another dude that could back them up sometimes, you know, if they get in foul trouble, or a 4 spot. Okay? They're playing Gallinari at the 4. But I don't think they pass on Mitchell here. I'm going to change that. I had originally had Petrusev, but I'm going to have Mitchell go to Atlanta at 20 because I don't think they pass on Davion Mitchell as a backup to Trae Young. So Davion Mitchell at 20 to the Hawks. New York is going to take a wing, and I'm going to go with Quentin Grimes at 21. They already just got Springer. We obviously wanted Murphy. We wanted Duarte. They were gone. So we're going to end up with Quentin Grimes at 21. I'm very happy with that. So we got Quentin Grimes at 21 for the Knicks. The Lakers are going to take Sharif Cooper, I believe. And the reason they would do that is because they got a playmaker right now, but who knows if they're going to keep Dennis Schroeder. But even if they do Dennis Schroeder, if they keep him, he's just part of this run they're trying to make right now with LeBron at the end of his career. They got LeBron, they got Anthony Davis. They trying to make a run right now, right? They've been shopping Kuzma and Caldwell Pope. So I'm thinking for the next phase of Laker Nation, you know, after LeBron, you got to have a playmaker. Cooper at 20 years old, you know, he's the guy. So I'm going to give the Lakers Sharif Cooper at 22. At 23, the Rockets will not be able to pass on Jared Butler. I think a lot of teams, including the Knicks, would pass on him because to me, he's the best guard outside the top 5. I want Jared Butler, but even though the NBA cleared him, each team has their own medical staff. Okay. And if you know the Knicks have been, their medical staff is the best medical staff to me in the NBA. They're very careful. And I think they're not the only team whose medical staff will say, okay, the NBA cleared them, but I don't think we want to take that risk. You know what I'm saying? So the Rockets could do it though, because they got 3 picks in the first round. So I don't think they can pass on a Butler right here. So I got the Rockets taking Butler at 23. At 24, the Rockets get another a pick at 24. At 24, I'm going to have the Rockets taking the Petrusev kid from Gonzaga. Petrusev to the Rockets at 24 to pair with Christian Wood on the front line. Christian Wood can play the 5 or the 4, but he really is more dangerous as a 4. And so you can get this kid Petrusev out of Gonzaga. Smart kid, high IQ, you know, ball player, could play good defense. Bring him in there to the Rockets at 24, sorry. 25, the Clippers. The Clippers, again, they're in championship mode. They got Terrence Mann, you know, as a young guard. I'm going to go with a shooter here because they could always add shooters. They sent Lou Williams to Atlanta. I'm going to go with Cam Thomas right here, the non-defender. But he's got the potential to become a great shooter. So I'm going to say Cameron Thomas here. Plus, if he don't play defense, Mook is on that team. Mook don't play that. Mook will put his foot this boy's behind. So, yeah. So I'm going to put Cam Thomas on the Clippers at 25. At 26, Denver is going to take Trey Mann because he's a tremendous shooter. They're a team that's pretty stacked. They're going to have Murray back this year. So they're going to be dangerous again. Of course, they got the Joker. So they could use Gary Harris. They traded, he didn't live up to expectations, so they traded him to Orlando. Here's Trey Man, the new Gary Harris for Denver. The Nets are another team, of course, the big three. They stack. They putting a lot of money in the big three. They trying to get better on the cheap. They're going to probably lose Spencer Dinwiddie. So I got them taking Ayu Dosunmu here at 27. Very solid guard for them. Will help them. The way some of the guards at Miami when LeBron was there help. They don't need a superstar right now, just somebody that's not going to make a lot of mistakes, somebody to contribute, somebody to play defense. Ayu Dosunmu is perfect pick for them right there. 76ers would have loved to have Grimes. They would have loved to have a shooter. All of them gone. What do they do right here? They take Bones. They take Bones Highland at 28. He's another shooter to add into that mix of shooters. If they can keep Ben Simmons, they're gonna need as many shooters around him as possible. I say they take Bones Highland right here at 28. 29, the Suns, another stack team, right? Now they may lose CP3 because another cheap owner they got there in the Suns. They may lose CP3. But even if they don't, they may lose Cameron Thomas, unless they're going to pay him. I don't think that owner is going to pay both of them guys. I don't think he either going to pay Cam Thomas or you're going to pay CP3. Either way, they're going to lose one of them. I'm going to take Deuce McBride right here. A good up-and-coming guy. Defender already, okay? Shoots off the dribble. So if I'm the Suns, I'm taking him. They're already set along the front line. They got a very nice team along the front line, starring DeAndre Ayton and of course Mikal Bridges, and then they got the kid. I love this kid they had. They picked him out of North Carolina, I think. He was an older kid. Johnson, I think it's Cam Johnson, right? Yeah, Cameron Johnson. Yeah, I love that kid, man. So they got a good front line. I'm gonna go with Deuce McBride here. They can't lose with that one. Utah at 30. Utah at 30. I'm going to have Utah taking at 30 this kid Preston out of Ohio. He's a point guard out of Ohio. He's a backup guy, but he could. I'm gonna go with him, Preston out of Ohio to Utah at 30. And then I did not do the whole second round. Just the Knicks second round. So at 32, I have the Knicks taking Josh Christopher from Arizona State as somebody they can develop. They're going to also want a big in the second round. I had them now. I don't know if they're going to get this guy at 58 or they're going to move up in the second to get him, but I have him taking Neemias Queta out of Utah State, who they have brought in for a workout. Neemias Queta, out of Utah State. He's a shot blocking guy, can run the floor. Of course, he's got some offensive limitations, but you're talking about second round. So I would definitely go with Neemias Queta right here, 7 foot wingspan, 7 foot tall, 248-pound center out of Utah State. And that is the 2021 draft from Raw Hebrew Remnant. So let's go over it. Cade Cunningham 1, Green 2 at Houston. Cleveland takes Mobley. Toronto takes Suggs. Orlando takes Scotty Barnes. OKC takes Kuminga. Golden State takes Bouknight. Orlando in the second pick takes Moses Moody. Sacramento Kings take Sengun. The Grizzlies at 10 trade up. They take Franz Wagner. The Hornets at 11 take Isaiah Jackson. The Spurs take Kai Jones at 12. The Pacers take Corey Kispert at 13. The Golden State Warriors take Jalen Johnson at 14. Washington takes Chris Duarte at 15. At 16, Garumba goes to OKC. At 17, the Pelicans take Giddey from Australia. At 18, OKC takes Trey Murphy III. At 19, the New York Knicks take Jaden Springer out of Tennessee. The Hawks take Davion Mitchell out of Baylor. At 21, the New York Knicks take Quentin Grimes out of Houston. 22, the Lakers take Sharif Cooper out of Auburn. The Rockets at 23 take Jared Butler from Baylor. The 24th pick, the Rockets use that to take Petrusev from Gonzaga. The 25th pick, the Clippers take Cam Thomas out of LSU. The 26th pick, Denver takes Trey Mann out of Florida. The 27th pick, the Nets take Ayu Dosunmu from Illinois. The 28th pick, the 76ers takes Bones Highland from VCU. The 29th pick, the Suns take Deuce McBride out of West Virginia. The 30th pick, the Utah Jazz take Preston out of Ohio. The New York Knicks at 32 take Josh Christopher. And at 58 or thereabouts, the second round pick, the last pick the Knicks take is Neemias Queta out of Utah State. There's the Raw Hebrew Remnant NBA Draft 2021, NBA Mock Draft 2021. Let me know what y'all think. I'm sure some of y'all going to be happy. I'm sure some of y'all going to be pissed. But I'm trying to be realistic about what I think is going to come in the draft and what the teams need. Have a good Tuesday. Shalom.